Hello, and welcome to this series of Ask Your Lecturer. I'm Sam Mungai, and this is a channel where I interview my students, current and past, to share their stories and their journeys, to inspire other students out there. Every student who comes onto this platform has a unique story that will inspire and captivate you. Today we have an interesting gentleman here who is going to introduce himself, and then we'll go right into it. Karibu.
Thank you very much, Mwalimu.
Yes.
Arnold Feather is my name. Let me say, Mwalimu has taught me for two of my journeys, that's diploma and undergraduate. And I'm finally done with my undergraduate, finally. What I'd really aspired to have completed in a span of, let me say, 3 years time, having transitioned from diploma to degree. So I had hoped that this would take a shorter period of time.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Let's look at some aspects of this journey. When you were doing your diploma, had you envisaged what you want to do in undergraduate in terms of your concentration? So did it come by accident?
I can't really say that it came by accident because when joining school, I actually had set my mind towards doing broadcast. And so starting it from a diploma level was just giving me a feel or rather a background of how the situation would be like.
Yes.
And so once I finished my diploma, I immediately transitioned into the BA program just to boost my skills on what I had gotten in the diploma program.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Now, in this journey of being a student, what type of student do you consider yourself as?
That's an interesting question.
Yes.
For me, I think it's all been about self-drive. Because you realize, or let me say from the students that we got to campus with, that's back in 2018, most of them had very different priorities, being in the city, that's Nairobi. So after class, some students just decided to go for their own errands.
Yes.
Maybe, as they call it, sherehe.
Yes, entertainment.
And I really I didn't want to be this particular kind of a student. So I decided to try and engage myself in certain things that would make me active in terms of school, matters school. So the first thing I did was to join this marketing team in the school.
Yes.
So I joined this team and we used to go for missions, we used to go for talks that inspire students in various schools, to be precise, high schools.
Yes.
And so through the initiatives, talking to students, that's how I also discovered that I can be a public speaker and I can be a motivational speaker at the same time. So all through this has been able to give me some level of courage, and I think that has also impacted my career, my professional career, because if I compare myself right now and the person I was back in 2018, there is a very, very big change.
I see. Now, I realized, because I was also watching Wiki, that you eventually got into several leadership positions. Now, were you mentored into leadership, or did you find yourself, as Shakespeare said, some people have greatness thrust upon them. So, were you mentored into leadership, or did you aspire it? Or tell us about
it. It came in such an interesting way because all along, many other students whom we were studying with, even those whom we never shared classes, usually approached me for guidance. And so when this one-time opportunity appeared that student leaders were needed in the school after such a long period of time, that was during the pandemic, after the pandemic. So it stood out that I was among the students who were on the forefront. So I decided to give it a try, and that's how I got into student leadership, and many people call me a politician, so I decided to embrace it.
I see. That's interesting, and I appreciate you for that. Now, as a young man and on campus, there are so many challenges the boy child goes through. Sometimes it's self-esteem, sometimes status issues, because we are all very different in a campus situation. Bad grades or low grades sometimes can have an effect on you. How did you take us through that journey? Because you went through all that as a young man. How did you navigate?
Like I said initially, these things can be controlled. And it's all about your principles. Like for me, I decided that getting to campus is business for me. And so I decided that I won't really engage myself in activities that won't be beneficial to me. So you realize, like I said, most of the students in campus, we have a lot of free time.
Yes.
So if you don't really plan well for your time, you end up getting into matters that you hadn't really foreseen in your life.
Yes.
So that's where we get drugs, people doing drugs, and just generally wasting your time.
Yes.
Hopping into relationships, this, and this.
Yes.
Because this time appears to be when you're trying to establish yourself, you're trying to find something that you can do over time.
Yes.
And that's not a good sign, mostly for a man, because at a young age, you also need to establish yourself, know what you want, and know the kind of people you want to identify yourself with, and know how you want to be identified by other people. So the way you put yourself really matters. So I feel like most young people nowadays do things blindly without knowing the kind of repercussions that they might be putting themselves to, because people just live the moment other than planning for what they want to be in life. So this is where you find there's a lot of time wastage. Many people take long to finish school.
Yes.
A diploma program is supposed to take 2 years. Some people take 4 years.
Yes.
Because of the comfort zone that they get themselves in while on campus. So I feel like it's all about budgeting, not really budgeting, but planning well for your time. If you plan well for your time and have standards for yourself, you won't really be caught up in situations where you are confused about your life.
Oh, that's interesting. You seem to be very focused. Did you have a lot of support from home, family?
In terms of support, yes, I did have a lot of support, because again, there was some pressure for me because all my siblings are already working, they're all grown up, and let me say they're successful.
Yes.
And myself here as the last born, now trying to make things happen, make things fall on my way. So I really had to do everything just to match whatever they had already set. And again, my parents really had high expectations of me. And I think this is something that has been steering me all through.
Yes. What was your relationship generally with the teaching staff on your journey?
That is quite an interesting. I believe there is no communication lecturer at this university who doesn't know me.
Yes.
And I wouldn't really say that this is because I used to do something wrong or what, but there is a saying that says you beget what you attract, or you attract what you beget, something like that.
Yes.
So many at times I used to be active in most of the school activities, class activities, and so in creating that particular relationship with my lecturers, that's how people get to identify you, identify the potential that you have, and even help you steer to greater heights. And I remember while doing my diploma, I really used to be so keen on what my lecturers used to say.
Yes.
There is Rebecca Nganga, who always taught us how to be the self-worth concept. So you being able to know who you are, know what you stand for, and find a way that you'd like people to identify you. So this is something that has been steering me all through, and I believe it has helped me a great deal.
Thank you for that. Now, because you went through internship and it's completed. Give us a highlight of your internship there. Were your expectations met? Take us through that journey of internship.
I think let me pick it up from my diploma internship.
Yes.
I was at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation.
Yes.
And during this time, I believe I hadn't really strike a balance of where I want to be in terms of profession.
Mm-hmm.
And comparing it to this time when I'm finally done with my undergraduate and
Yes.
really into the work environment.
Mm-hmm.
And so the experience has really been great because now I have this in mind that this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I give it my best shot because I know my whole life kind of depends on it.
Mm-hmm.
So the experience and the journey has really been great.
Mm-hmm.
At some point I felt like I was very comfortable. I felt like I was employed.
Mm-hmm.
But it was only an internship.
Yes.
But I believe it's because I had given it my all.
Mm-hmm.
And my supervisors at work were very happy about it.
Yes.
Because you wouldn't really differentiate me from someone who's employed.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday, as I went for my recommendation letter,
Mm-hmm.
they were surprised. Why are you not here?
Mm-hmm.
Upon mentioning to them that I was actually done with my internship, they were like, no, you need to be back. So the experience was great,
Mm-hmm.
and I really appreciate because I've been able to put into practice what I've been learning in school.
Mm-hmm.
And this has really been a great journey. 3 months seemed like a decade to me.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw it coming to an end, but again, it was a very short period of time. Yeah.
Very good. And congratulations for that. Some students don't even make it through internship because of poor choices, as you said before. They get discontinued. Now, in this season of your life, what is an area of passion that you're looking forward to pursue?
Over time, I've always wanted to pursue investigative journalism.
Uh-huh.
And at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, we have various desks. So we don't have the specifics, for instance, a desk that deals with education per se. We don't have a specific one that deals with investigative topics.
Yes.
So we had the general news desk. So here you're placed to work on a number of stories, which I believe was also very inspirational to me because that's when you also get to establish and identify what you want to do.
Yes.
So I realized that I would really want to indulge in investigative journalism, and I'd just say that getting an opportunity for me to pursue that in the long run would really boost my level of skill in investigative journalism and journalism as a whole. And that's a field that I'd want to venture into for the longest time because investigative journalism is not any other kind of journalism.
Yes.
This is one that requires you to be hands-on, like you always say.
Yes.
You really need to dig deeper into what you're doing, getting the facts right, ensuring that your reporting is factual.
Yes.
This is when you can build confidence in your viewers. And in the long run, you end up, or let me say, I end up to be the big names that we are currently hearing of in terms of investigative journalism, and probably appear into the big screens, the Africa Uncensored, and
I know you will do well.
Yeah.
We have a lot of you have a lot of untapped potential. Now, this being the Mental Health Awareness Month, it is very important for everyone to have or to create a balance in their lives. Over and above where you are now and having accomplished your academic credentials, what else do you do on the side to occupy your time?
Yeah, so you realize that we are living in actually totally different times because there are so many people who've been educated even to their PhD levels, and getting that one single opportunity for you to practice what you've learned can really be difficult. And if you're not keen, it might lead you into depression. I've seen so many friends of mine who don't have jobs.
Yes.
And these are people who probably graduated about 5 years or 4 years ago. They are just there at home, and this can really be frustrating to you. So, for me, there are quite a number of things that I try to do in a bid to keep myself busy. And this has hit me hard after completing my internship and generally after completing school. So I remember sometime last year I ventured into tourism. I was a tour guide to some of the whites who had just visited. It was actually a visiting lecturer from the United States who had visited Easter. And they needed someone to take them around the country. So I said, why not? I have a driving license.
Yes.
Let me tap this opportunity and take them around the country. So I also got to visit some of the very many national parks and very many places that I'd never visited before.
Yes.
What I did is just believed in myself that I could do this. I've never been a tour guide before. I just gave it a try and it worked well for me. At least I got something to push me forward for the next few period of months by then. And so many other things that come across. Let me say at this point I can call myself a jack of all trades because that's where life is taking us to.
No, it's important, and I appreciate that exposure.
Yeah.
For even any young person out there, don't limit yourself. Just go into various spaces and just discover.
Yeah.
Now, before we wind up this interview, it's always important to also hear from Mwalimu.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for Mwalimu?
I've seen you do so many initiatives with
Yes.
young people.
Yes.
And I wonder what really pushes you to that extreme. There are so many things that you could be engaging yourself in. You would probably be elsewhere at your farm
Yes.
or doing other things. So what really inspires you into doing these particular initiatives with your students?
I have a real passion for youth empowerment, and especially the boy child. So whichever space that I'm in, I want to utilize that space fully. So it's not only teaching the academics, it's the life skills, the social skills. And that's why I'm involved in other programs like the Man Enough program. Anywhere where there's mentorship to give your generation an extra push in life to teach. You've noticed even my teaching style is very different. I've used the first half an hour talking about non-academic topics, about life, about politics, about relationships, just to give us a holistic exposure of life. Because academia only won't prepare you for the marketplace or for the journey of life. And your generation has many more challenges than us. We are Gen X's, you're Gen Z's. So when I look at your generation, I feel, and rightfully so, that you need a little more guidance. Just guidance. You have so much potential, your generation. And you see, you've put it already into practice. And it's also useful in the workplace. And I like, you just mentioned it now, although not directly, that when you go into a workspace or internship space, utilize your skills and knowledge in this department and here, try this out. So that's what motivates me to do that extra.
Maybe a last one.
Yes.
Life is a journey. People come, people go.
Yes.
New generations come, new generations leave.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this one thing that you probably want to be remembered for having done in this life?
If I added value to a student, and you can remember your stay in wherever we met, that it was memorable, and that Mwalimu made it memorable. He went out of his way to make my stay here better. If you can remember and say, I learned this from this Mwalimu, something that's helping you beyond, I don't need anything else. I'll be fulfilled.
That was very wise.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I think that's all from me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for staying on this channel. This is where we have these interactions with students to give their inspiring stories, to motivate you and inspire you and to give you hope that it is possible. And it is all right not to be all right. Seek help, get mentorship, and most important, keep it here for more content of this nature. See you soon.